Connor, what's going on, my friend?
Yes, sir. I'm good. How are you, mate?
I'm good, man. Happy to have you, man. Thank you for taking the invite. Obviously, a lot has
My
been
pleasure.
said here on the show in reference to you, so we're glad that you came here to at least address. I won't call it a call out because it sounds more like an invitation. Bill sounded
Yeah,
definitely um, respectable, and saying that it would be an honor to share the ring with you, and obviously for him to be in the corner against your dad. But I'm
yeah.
sure you know the news. You retweeted it. You said you're all for it. What are truly your thoughts on the performance for Devin Haney versus Regis and the possibility of you two mixing it up?
Listen, I think Devin Haney's a great fighter. You don't achieve what he's achieved at such a young age to not be a great fighter. I've met Bill numerous occasions. I've met Haney as well. I got a lot of love for fathers and sons in boxing. Obviously, my dad's heavily involved in my career. It's an unbreakable bond. It takes a certain son and a certain dad to be able to work together in the sport that we're in. So I've got a lot of love for it. But yeah, mate, I'd love to fight Haney. If he's coming up to 147, you ain't got to say it twice. I'm there.
How soon do you think you would be willing to do that fight? Obviously, he just got out. Next year is wide open, first quarter, second quarter. What would be good for you, and where do you want that fight? Is that an American fight here, America, or is it him come to the UK?
Listen, it's entirely up to him. I don't have no issues fighting in the States. I fought in the States numerous occasions. I got a lot of love out there, from you guys. So it's always a blessing to fight over there. If he wants to make his British, fighting debut, then I'm here. So if he wants to come overseas and come across on the other side of the pond and fight that fight, I'm here. So it could be early next year, it could be mid next year, depending on obviously on how quick he wants to come up to 147. But for me, I've got a date Feb the 3rd. There's been big names mentioned to me, names that I've accepted today earlier on today. So yeah, hopefully have that all done soon.
So you have a potential fight in February.
Feb the 3rd, yeah.
So we're certainly talking second quarter.
Yeah, I'd probably say summer maybe.
What's the preferred month for a stadium fight, and do you believe this is a stadium fight?
Yeah, of course. Listen, Haney's a big name. He's a big draw. He's a great fighter, um, and he's is it two division world champion?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, so at 25. So he's a household name. Um, I'm not sure how many Brits know of him over here, unless you're a boxing fan. But it's a fight that I know the British public would love. I think the British public would love me in any fight of that level, especially against a fighter like Haney.
I am a super duper Haney fan. I think this is a
Yeah,
dangerous fight. I don't think you're a small welterweight. I think you're a very active welterweight in terms of punches. You use a lot of left hook, back hooks. Um, I don't think he's fought anyone that throws as many punches as you as well. And I guess the question is a two-part. Do you think he's fought someone that throws as many punches? And are you a bigger puncher than Regis?
Oh yeah, definitely a bigger puncher. I think when you come up to 147, it's listen, as you go up in any weights, you go up in any weights. There's weight categories for a reason. I spar. I walk around at around 175. I'm sparring. Super middleweights, light heavyweights, middleweights on regular basis. And I feel strong at that weight. So for me, cutting down to 147, I feel strong at that weight as well. I don't have to deplete myself. So it all just depends on if Haney wants that risk at 147. You know, who knows? But I do believe I present different style. I present ferocity, aggression, explosiveness, and relentless pressure. That's what I bring. He says no.
So what did you think of that performance, and was it more Regis, or is it just Haney's a masterclass boxer? Because it seemed like, I was yelling at the television like, come on, you got to sell out. It's 7-0. Like, you sold the puncher's chance to us, and, he just wasn't. And by sellout, I mean, get hit if you have to cut that distance.
Yeah, listen, I mean, see, as a spectator, you want that. Hit, hit, and, willing to take one to give two, to give three, but as a coach and the people in his team, he done the right thing. It's about longevity in the sport. Is it entertaining? Not really. Is it, pleasing to the eye? Not really. But is it effective? Does it work? Does he win? Does he take less punches? Does he look good doing it? Maybe not, but he does what he needs to do. And ultimately, he's now got the belt. Whether it was pleasing to the eye or not, he's now got the belt. My point of view on that sort of style is, or not just that style, but people who just do what they got to do to win. I want to be in a fight. I want people to, be on the edges of their seat. I want to hear the oohs and the ahs. I want people to go, do you know what? I'm definitely at the next fight. Or being vulnerable. Everyone's take's very different. I like putting bums on seats. I like feeling the electric atmosphere in a venue when I'm fighting. That's me personally. So everyone has their different approaches. But then again, my dad was exactly the same. You didn't know if he was going down. You didn't know if he was getting up. Going down and getting back up and then putting the other guy down. So listen, I mean, I'm not here for a long time. I'm here for a good time. Haney may want to be here for a long time. He's 25.
Conor, why are you, I guess, so willing to take that fight, right? Like, I spoke to Keith here on the show yesterday, Keith Thurman, someone you've called out.
Yeah.
And he was very reluctant. Like, I had to sell Haney to him, and then I woke up to a text message this morning where he said, you know what, I'm not interested in that fight. And throughout our interview, he said Haney had a low IQ, that he didn't want to make the fight, that he should have tried to go for the knockout, that he's more boring than Mayweather, that he didn't build the fight, that he lets his daddy talk for him. Do any of these things worry you, that he'll try to stay on the outside, that you'll have to deal with Bill versus dealing with Devin?
Listen, I like Bill and I like Devin. There ain't got to be no beef. Sometimes a good fight is just a good fight. And I'll come and I'll bring the smoke. That's what I do. I come and I'll bring it. There's no two ways about it. If you want to run, I'll hunt you down. If you want to come for a fight, then we're in for a fight. So, and that's what I prepare for. And it's calculated aggression. So whichever way, whoever I fight, you've never seen a boring Conor Benn fight. Look at any of my fights. You've never seen a fight and gone, that was a bit boring. Never. Even when they go 10 rounds, they're still not boring. So listen, I think Keith's just being a little hater there. We've called Keith out numerous times. Numerous times. He's just hating on the young man who's achieved a lot. Young, early. So he can keep hating. He's saying he wants to fight, but we presented him the offer for the fight. We presented numerous, top fives for the fight, and it weren't enough.
So there's heavy rumors circulating of Eddie Hearn potentially signing Jaron Bouts Ennis.
Yeah.
What's your thoughts on that? Is that something that you hope to see happen? And how big do you think that fight is in comparison to the Devin Haney fight versus you?
I think Haney will be a bigger fight. Haney's a bigger name, bigger draw. There's a lot more to him. As far as Jaron Ennis, he's a great fighter. But the dad in recent interviews, I don't know the dad's name, so forgive me. What's his name?
Bouts Ennis.
Bouts Ennis said in now multiple interviews that they have no interest in fighting me because I bring nothing to the table, and I'm not a big name in the States. So, I mean, take from that what you want. I mean, I've been vocal about the fight. Would it be easier to make? providing they want it, of course, which are, by the sounds of it, don't sound like it's the right fight for them right now. Then yeah, it would make the fight easier. You know, it's all easier when it's all under one banner. But I'll it's a good fight. I don't think it's the biggest fight for me right now. But is it a fight I want? Of course it is. You know, who else is there in the British rankings on the British welterweight division here for me? I don't think there is anyone, you know, of them sort of level of fights. You know, and all the world titles are over there in the States. So, you know, it's only right I go over there and collect.
Do you believe you're ready today for a fight with Crawford if, for whatever reason, his contract falls apart with Earl, or they decide to let him, not have to do that rematch? Would you be willing to entertain a fight with Crawford?
Any day, any day. Listen, as fighters, you're a fighting man. It's what you do. It's what you train for. You know, so if they presented Crawford to me, yes. Errol Spence, yes. Ugas, yes. Thurman, yes. Ennis, yes. You know, that's the way you are. You know, so in any fighter who chooses to turn down them sort of fights ain't no fighter. You know, at heart. You know, so if they present it to me, of course I would. Do I think he's a great fighter? Do I think he's the best currently in the division? Do I see a lot of fighters beating him? No. And I think he's the cream of the crop.
We've seen Eddie in the past offer a big money opportunity to an American to come face a UK fighter in the United Kingdom. Obviously, I'm talking Anthony Joshua, Charles Martin. Can you foresee Matchroom sending Ennis an offer for him to cross the pond now that he's a full champ?
Listen, you got to understand, I don't think it's down to... I don't know if there's any amount that would... Listen, you've heard listen to the interview with
No,
Bouts.
I heard it. I heard it.
So you're asking me, well, it's not... It doesn't matter what we do. It matters what they do and what they want. You know, and I don't think that's a fight based on, you know, how it sounded, that's a fight that can happen in the near future. I mean, hopefully I'm wrong. You know, but even a Barrios fight, would I love to bring Barrios here? Definitely.
Has there been any traction there? Have you actually made phone calls? Because obviously I spoke to Barrios' team, and they're an option for Devin. Devin has mentioned them, and they raised their hand yesterday on the show and basically said they would fight Devin in a heartbeat, and it's more about the ball being in Devin's court as to when he's ready to come back.
I don't know if my team have reached out. I believe they have. But I mean, yeah, I've been told that they have. Barrios, Thurman, so these are the names that were all mentioned. And we made offer to, which were Ramirez, Barrios, Ugas, Thurman, and there was one more.
Jose Ramirez? That used to...
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, so this was now almost 2 years ago, offers were made to all of them, all at once, before the Eubnak fight was arranged. So, and it wasn't enough for Thurman. Ugas, Salah said they weren't taking that fight because they weren't going to be the stepping stone. I don't know why it didn't happen with Barrios, but these are the sort of fights we want. These are the sort of fights I want with the top Americans.
Now, those are all competitive fights, so I'm assuming if I say Adrian Broner, you're not interested.
Nah.
Got you.
We made the offer. He wouldn't turn up anyway.
So you have made an offer?
Yeah, ages ago. With the names we're now speaking, maybe a little bit just before, when Haney fought. Oh, I can't remember who Haney fought in Vegas. Anyway, it was around that period,
Linares or Jojo Diaz, it would be.
I think it was Linares, but I'm not 100% sure. Nah, I might have been Linares. It might have been in Vegas about 2.5, 3 years ago.
Are you interested in Josh Taylor in a domestic fight? Is that something that gets you motivated?
Taylor, and calls Josh Taylor, we want that fight. You know, we've had our own say, but Josh Taylor's trainer said that, you know, they're not interested in that fight at the moment.
Damn.
You got to remember, he's not going to take a fight. And you got to remember, this is public knowledge. So you just Google it. Josh Taylor and Conor Benn, and you see his trainer said we're not going to do the Conor Benn fight. You got to understand he's not going to just come up to 147 and me be his first fight at 147. You know, after suffering a defeat at 140. So, listen, whoever they put in front of me, whoever we can get, I'm ready to fight. I'm not saying I'm the boogeyman of the division, but I'm just saying the money people want. You know, they outpriced themselves. That's why I've got to go up to 160 to fight this Eubnak. And even him now is outpriced himself. You know, hence why we've accepted other offers at welterweight for February the 3rd.
So, is the February the 3rd opponent someone that you're going to get excited for, or is it another get back like your Florida fight?
The Florida fight was a bit of a strange one because I didn't know if I was fighting or not until about 2 weeks before the fight. So I wasn't sure if... So that was a really strange one. That was more so like a glorified sparring session, you know, in comparison to all my other fights. This fight, definitely, I've got time. I can prepare for it correctly. It would be at 147. And yeah, no, I'll get up for this fight. I can't say the name. But yeah, it's a fight. It's a
Are your
fight that I'll get up.
will your fans be happy with the name?
Listen, my fans want me in with, you know, there's only one person everyone wants me in with now, and that's Eubnak at 160. That's the fight. You know, that's the only fight that people want to see me in, really. Apart from that, for the world title. So, you know, people aren't happy with the in-between fights. They want the mega fights.
Speaking of mega fight, I got one for you. I'm actually shocked that Eddie hasn't pitched it. Two sons of two legends. You've already tried to move up to 60. Why not stop at 54 and fight Tim Tszyu?
Perfect. Dad, hey, Dad, come. My dad, I hear my dad in the background going,
Yeah. How we doing, man?
Oh, good. How are you, Mr. Ben?
I'm fine, sir. How are you?
I'm happy to have you on the show and happy to hear that you approve of the matchmaking, man. Let's get this done. Where is that? Las Vegas to make it neutral, or would you guys go to Australia?
Well, my family live in Australia. Yeah, I used to live in Sydney. I lived in Sydney for maybe 4 years.
So it's a homecoming.
Yeah, it would be good. It would be good to do it over there, of course. Provided the fight happens, of course. But I don't know. Again, listen, it's all politics. When there's other promotional companies and, you know, it's hard. It's just hard to make, unfortunately.
I don't know. I think that fight could be made. I mean, Tim Tszyu has proven that No Limit Promotions works on his behalf, and they've gotten him only big names. I mean, obviously, granted, they've been a lot of PBC names, but he's also been able to go back to Australia and put on his own fights without PBC. So I don't think there's strings attached. That's a good one. I can't wait to have my editor chop this up and make a reel to get the word out, because that's a great fight.
Yeah, listen, of course, that's a fight. Listen, any mega fight is a fight a fighter wants to be involved in. You know, any mega fight, whichever that is. You know, if I got cut to 154 for a mega fight, no problem. And that's the sort of fight that would be worth it. If I got to go up to 160 to fight Eubnak, I'd probably only go up to 160 to fight Eubnak because the rivalry is so big. I'm not a 160 fighter. I'm not really a 154 fighter, but I feel strong enough in myself, mentally, physically. I punch hard enough to compete at them weights for them certain fights.
Let's put everything into comparison. For Conor Benn, what's the number one fight sounds like, you know, you want to take on Chris Eubnak?
Yeah.
That's the fight. Because there's just history, our own history there. It's just one of the biggest fights in the country. The whole country will come to a standstill for that fight, providing it happens, which don't look like it's going to happen.
And your second biggest fight?
I would probably go Barrios.
Barrios over Devin, so you think that fight is bigger?
I wouldn't say bigger, but I would say he's got the interim WBC title. So I would rather go Barrios than Haney and be Haney's first fight at 147. I'd rather have something on the line.
For sure. And, okay, so wow. So Tim Tszyu, where does he fall? You're at number 2.
I would probably still go I would probably still go someone like
Well, actually,
Thurman.
we're at number 4 because you're saying Chris Eubank, Barrios, then Devin. So number 4 would
Yeah,
be.
I'd probably go. Yeah, I'd still probably like to stick around Ugas, Thurman. Um, I'll probably try and still stick around them top 5 names in the welterweight division. Providing none of them happen, then yeah, I would happily go to 154 to fight Tim.
All right, I got a couple more, and these will be from the people, and we'll get you out of here. We got New York Bullet in New York, obviously, who says, "What's up, champ? Thanks for coming on the show. If you can fight any legend in his prime, past or present, to test your skills against, who would be your choice? Blessings, champ."
You.
Yeah, I'll probably go my dad.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's see here.
It only
We
go a
got.
few rounds. It only go a few rounds.
Yeah.
I
But
got Jerv.
I mean that's me going down as well.
I'm staying down.
I got Jerv in the 973. He says, "Jerv from Jersey. What's up, champ? Thanks for joining the best boxing podcast in the world. I really like your fighting style. Come forward and mad aggression. But do you think this style of yours will work well against Bouts or my main man Crawford, who both have switch hitting abilities, great IQs, and great stamina? Thanks again for joining, champ. Peace."
Listen, I think anything you do against them guys,
Not giving him room.
it's gonna be hard because they're good fighters. They're great fighters. You're saying, well, they pick me off on my aggression coming forward, but then am I gonna try and outbox them? So what I do what I'm good at, which is angles, which is explosiveness, which is explosive counters, which is, being able to maintain that for 12, not giving them any room to work. And that's my outlook. Is I'm gonna go in there and I'm gonna let them know that they're in a fight and I'm gonna take it to them and not give them room to look pretty, not give them room to think about what they're gonna do. Just to let them know that, I'm here. That would be my approach.
You have to be confident after watching Crawford versus Porter. You have a similar, I mean, you're not Sean Porter. That's a difficult style to replicate, but similar styles in a way, or would you disagree?
I would disagree. Yeah,
Yeah,
Ooh.
too.
I mean, I'm low. I come down low. I'm very explosive with my shots, and there's a lot in my shots. As in when I'm throwing, they're heavy shots. I'm not springy. I'm not bouncy on my feet. I sink my shots in when I throw and I let them go. My intentions are to really inflict damage with the shots that I throw. That every shot is thrown with bad intentions.
Yeah, you did separate yourself with that common opponent. I didn't know you were going to knock out Formella because I based it off of Porter going 12 rounds with Formella. I even watched the Mbenge fight before Formella got in that position, so I knew he was a decent boxer. You really
Yeah,
ran through him.
yeah. He was. That was my first step up fight. That was like my first fight. Like I was pretty nervous because it was like my first test, really. And I beat him easy. I won every round. He was just very negative, but I still managed to maintain the pace for 10 rounds.
Yep. I got Flacco38 from California, fan of yours. You plan on fighting back in the United States soon? Also, great Spanish. Yeah, I know I told you this before. I believe we met at the JoJo fight, but your Spanish is phenomenal. I mean, I know you lived, but it's just, wow. It is so good.
It's a bit rusty. I haven't spoke it for maybe how long? I haven't spoke it for maybe 15 years.
Nah,
I haven't
you
had
just spoke with Vargas.
yeah, but that was yeah, I suppose. But I mean, there's a few words I forget now and then. But yeah, I mean, listen. Hopefully, providing Feb the 3rd isn't with Eubnak, I'll be fighting in the USA Feb the 3rd.
Listen, if you don't take any advice from me, this is the one piece you have to take. If you beat Eubank, you must call out Canelo in Spanish. Even if you don't think, no, seriously, even if you don't think you're going to beat him, bro, the Spanish media gonna eat that shit up, and you'll get an offer. Like, come on, your Spanish is phenomenal. No,
Yeah,
seriously. I,
we'll see. We'll cross that bridge when it comes to it. I'll take the advice on though.
That's good, man. That's a good point. That's a very, very good
listen,
point.
even if you don't want to fight him, your name is gonna just get spread out.
No, he want to fight him. I can assure you. He want to fight.
That's right. You better take that payday. Look, he started at 140.
You know that.
Yeah.
He started at 140. He's got a big frame, but you never know. I mean, people want Crawford to fight him, so we can't get mad if you get the fight.
Very true. Very true.
I got Steven in Toronto.
Keep plugging it.
I need him to say it in Spanish, and we got it. I'm telling you, the Spanish media will eat that up. Steven in Toronto says, what is your current situation with the BBFC?
Still just letting the lawyers deal with that. It's not really anything. Nothing's changed. You know, I'm free to fight in the UK and abroad, globally. So, you know, I'm letting that all take care of itself in the background, and me just focus on getting back in the ring, doing what I love, and getting back fighting, man.
Last one, I think you've already answered. Profound Dreamer, Far Rockaway, New York. He says, are you looking to fight for championships in the welterweight division? And you pretty much said yes to all the champions.
Most definitely. Anyone. I'll fight anyone. Listen, if it's a mega fight, world titles, money, give me the biggest fight, the biggest name. And, you know, I'll welcome it.
That is all the questions. Do appreciate you coming on. Both of you guys, thank you so much. Remember, you beat Eubnak, say it in Spanish.
I will do.
I hear you, man.
All right, man. Appreciate you. There you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Conor Benn, live and in the flesh, and his dad. That was great.